Just passing out the stream to some people. And then we'll get going. Alrighty, I'm gonna go ahead and get the opening here started. I'm going to probably talk a little bit over the cutscenes, but I'll try to be a little bit respectful, especially whenever we get to the ones that actually kind of have some real development going on with them. This first one really isn't going to be doing too much, so... sub-weapon, yes, that's correct. Start the game with no sub-weapons. I've beat this game before, so it's trying to take me through as if, you know, asking me whether or not I want to use kind of the unlocked weapons and everything. So I'm going to try to do this as just kind of like a dry run. So the unfortunate thing is the layout that I had set up and prepared for all of this. Unfortunately, the site is glitching out, so I will not have like the chat log or anything like that. And you know, given that I'm starting this stream of this game with without that, I'll probably continue on through it as if it's not there. You know, I don't want to change the layout in the middle of a stream, but I will probably, in the midst of playing this game, I'll probably do like a Mega Man, like, I want to say like a 3 or a 6, I'm thinking, run at some point. So whenever that happens, I'll try to do the layout again. You know, like, pretty much the big thing I can request from you guys is just let me know if that layout works, if it doesn't work. You know, it's not a concrete thing, so if it's just absolutely like kind of detracting from the quality of it, then I'll definitely try to see about doing some different things to kind of fix it.
In the final 30 seconds, Henry G trashed out from
but to kind of get more into this game here, this is, as the title of this stream is pretty much labeled Mecha Anime Tropes, the game.
Position for landing.
It's honestly one of my favorite Mecha anime titles, and they did an HD collection for the PS3.
That's unusual.
I've wanted to play this game for a long time since I started streaming, so the fact that I now have the ability to kind of capture that gameplay, this is going to be a great way to kind of break in the capture device.
I don't know much about back then.
I tried to adjust the volume down a little bit to where it's a little bit quieter. On the Mega Man X4 stream I was kind of fighting with game audio, so let me know if it's a little bit hard to hear me or the game.
There goes your entire salary again. I'm sure of it.
So one of the first things that the game does is just basically shows you how shit other robots in this universe are. So unfortunately we have to suffer through what is essentially like the clunkiest section ever in the game.
You may crash. Beware.
And this is the whole entire game. This is it.
Dingo, haven't you arrived yet?
You thought this was going to be full of cool robots? You're wrong.
Don't push the left so hard.
So kind of like the general idea of the kind of story of the universe of this kind of game series. These levs right here are kind of like the standard robots. These are kind of like the working class robots that kind of exist around. There's a second group of robots in this game called orbital frames, and those are the ridiculously good mechs that we'll see later on. They kind of establish right here that the kind of shit that people traditionally work with are just absolutely garbage robots. The world in this is pretty much split up into two different groups. There's people who were born on Earth who have like a better
Metatron
muscle
is
mass,
not very
muscle
deep.
density, and just structure and whatnot.
And it's very
then there's
strong.
people
It
who were
wasn't here
born
last
on the
time I
artificial
came.
space stations. These guys are called the Enders. They're a little bit looked down upon because they're physically weaker due to the low gravity.
Is it debris?
The observation crews
There's just
are
like a
goofing
lot
off
of
again.
subtext to this game. Like this, it has a whole lot of really cool
the hell is
concepts that
that?
don't get explored too terribly
Anything
well
wrong?
because for some odd reason this game series is like ridiculously
I found
underappreciated.
something interesting. I'll check it out.
Hatch unlocked. Where? A helmet.
And anybody who is unfamiliar with
Got a
this
bad
game
feeling.
series, this is basically Hideo Kojima's take on the Mecha series, and it's a shame that we'll probably not see something like this again.
Nico, I see a huge ship over there. Ah!
What's happening, Angie? What ship did you see? Angie! Damn. A warship? Must be Bara.
So our main character here, his name is Dingo Egret. He used to be, I believe, part of the Baron forces. He left because reasons. He kind of retired from that life and kind of stole away to doing this kind of like day job, kind of mining operation.
My liver's damaged. Damn Baram.
Barum from Mars?
But he
How can
kind of
you
gets
tell?
dragged back into
Get
it.
your ship down into the ditch and stay hidden.
One of the traditional kind of tropes of this series is a lot of the people who end up piloting the main mecha in it, they don't ever seem to really do it kind of intentionally. So in the first game you were playing as a child trying to escape from a city that was under siege by Barum. In this one, he, as you saw, he kind of discovered this and then, was able to discover it as basically trying to take cover to not die. So one of the things I'm going to be uncertain about with the capture device and kind of like the timing between what you guys are seeing and what I'm saying, I'm not really sure how immediate that's going to be, so hopefully whenever I do the commentary of this, it kind of captures at around the right time. I'll try to make sure that my commentary isn't going to be that precise. Alright, so this is kind of like the main crux of the combat in this. Whenever you're at range, you basically fire your guns. Whenever you get kind of close in, you use your sword. You have different little charge attacks that you can use.
Confirming the enemy destroyed.
What
We'll
is
be
the efficiency
exploring
of
all
this
of this as
frame?
we go through
This
the
is
game.
orbital frame Jehuti. Do you want me to explain how to manipulate the frame?
Do you want me
Who
to
is
explain
this?
how to
This
manipulate
is
the frame?
detached
No,
backup
thank
battle
you.
unit, Ada.
So this is a battle computer, isn't it? More reliable than the Lev's navigators.
I'm completely different. Do you request control instructions?
Yes, Ada.
Oh no,
please.
why would he do it? I don't care. Alright, so we're not going to be going through the
Please choose
tutorial. We
what
know more or
ending
less what we're
training.
doing. I will need a little bit to kind of catch back up on the controls, but for the most part, it's fairly intuitive.
Found our objective at point 04.
Roger. Departing for 04.
Enemy approaching. Unmanned battle planes.
So the first game was kind of primarily focused on the
Mosquito.
on just kind of like the one-on-one combat. This game kind of added in like multiple weaker enemies, so you can kind of get this sort of laser play that's going on here. The thing that makes this game really fun to play is just the focus on like the high intensity combat, like just the fast pace of everything. And the best part about it is like there's a lot of games that have stuff like this where it's like really hard to really grasp kind of what's going on, but this game does like a pretty good job of letting you kind of keep up with what's going on, like both from the controls perspective as well as the
Where are you?
You know, the spectacle itself.
Rick, where are you now? Don't move! I'll be there soon!
Enemy approaching.
It's approaching your way!
Gotta remember how to switch targets. There we go.
Move in the indicated direction.
So whenever you're up close, enemies can, you know, kind of shield your attacks. You can do the same thing. There's kind of like a rock, paper, scissors that goes on. Whenever they're blocking your light attacks, you can't damage them, but you can charge up a heavy attack by, you know, either being at range or being up close. Whenever you do that, it breaks their guard, but it's very telegraphed and predictable, so you kind of have to play this game of figuring out, you know, kind of what the best option is at that point is to use.
Enemy destroyed.
The thing that makes this game really great, especially, is just like all of the different setups that they put you through. Like the first game was just kind of a pretty generic, just go from point A to point B and just do more or less a rinse and repeat. It's still a great game, but it just doesn't, you know, capture what this one does, which is just this idea of like moving through like all these different environments and settings. Later on we'll get some more sub-weapons, so like right now the main thing that's using my sub-weapon energy is the millions of lasers that I'm using. So right there, whenever he does the spin slash up close, that's the dash attack that I'm using. Probably should have considered putting this up a little bit on the difficulty, but this game does get a little bit tricky later on, so I'm not regretting it right now. Looking at my energy, I definitely don't. So the main enemies of the game are these little raptor type units, and as we kind of go through, like you'll see these guys kind of get little upgrades as we go through.
Enemy destroyed. Damage level exceeding 75%.
And Metatron is this game's sort of energy source that you use.
The cursor is on. Destroy with a burst attack.
Right here's our burst attack. We can make a spirit bomb.
Then hit the square button for a burst attack.
Beat it, Rick!
Dingo!
First boss of the game.
Since I found Jehuti, you'll have to give it to me.
What does Bara want with Callisto?
Oh? You don't look like a mining man to me.
Get lost.
Oh yeah, the acting in this game can be a little bit not great.
Shoot down the enemy's attack with lasers.
So a lot of the bosses in this game are gonna be pretty much equate to get close and use the kind of guard break attack. They do try to block a lot, so it's only rarely like this attack right here. I pretty much have to dodge her laser attack until she comes out of it. Should have her done with. There we go. Just had to give her a good little sword swing. It wasn't wanting to fly when those things were hitting me.
So you want this frame, don't you?
Maybe.
Even if you're bar armed, that's too rough.
It sure is.
Who's the commander?
You think I'll tell?
Wait!
Good job, Dingo.
Are you alright?
Yeah.
Dingo, the enemy is approaching me.
Alright, I'll try to head them off.
You will?
Take care, Angie.
What?
And say goodbye to these characters we'll never see again.
High energy reaction inside enemy battleship. Entry is dangerous.
If we don't do something, we'll be crushed along with Callisto. We have no choice.
So I can't remember if the plot picks up here or if it's after this next little section. Okay, it picks up here-ish. We have a little bit more to go.
Enemy walking tank. Spider. Enemy reinforcements are confirmed. To switch lock on target.
Another thing that you can do with enemies is you can actually grab them and do your cool little Mario swing with them.
All enemies have been cleared.
And pretty much this next section is more or less emphasizing using the grab function, which in the previous game was useful, but just there was never any situation where it was too useful.
Do you want to
I
see
was
how
always
it's
much
done?
better just to
Yes,
use your
please.
sword.
Ending training.
So the name of your main,
Generating enemies.
your kind of main mecha here, his name is Jehuti. It's based off of.
Confirmed destruction of cellar.
God, I'm gonna ruin this up and down. Like I believe it's based off of the Egyptian gods. There's also an Anubis. There's a couple of other ones named after other deities of the like. And right here is our first variant of the raptors. This guy's called a mummy head. So their big thing is they have this big frontal shield. They also have these giant lasers that they'll shoot at me. They're really annoying and frustrating, but honestly, the worst part about them is just the fact that if they start like getting clumped up and use their lasers on you, it is just the worst. And all of this takes place kind of near Jupiter. I believe it's off of near one of the moons
They want
of it.
this frame, don't they?
Did you board this even though you knew?
I didn't want to involve
The
my
first
friends.
game kind of takes place
Also,
just on a
there's something
space
I have to
station near
confirm.
Jupiter. I think this one kind of bounces around just a little bit.
The gate to the next unit is open. Please follow the arrow.
Oh, it's not open anymore.
What?
And this is actually a throwback to a boss from one of the previous games on Nephthys.
What's wrong? Come on, get me!
Yeah, we have to throw beams at her
The
to
enemy
kind of
shield
break
is
her
not
down.
damaged by an energy attack. You will need to make a physical attack.
A physical attack?
A blade or something used in close combat.
But it seems the blade can't reach it.
Look for something useful
Look for
to
something
attack.
useful to attack. Like the beams that I've been grabbing this whole time. Just gotta keep throwing them at her. There we go. I couldn't remember if I was supposed to wear her health down or just throw them at her a lot.
Is that you? Viola?
Perhaps you're speaking to a battle AI.
She's AI? Hey, Viola!
It is just a replica being made by using her past battle data and part of her character. I don't think you can get a response from her.
So, what happened to Viola?
The applicable frame runner is already dead.
She died?
In the year 2172,
This is all reference
the
to
Antilia
the
raid.
previous
It
game.
was a matter under the control of the Space Force. Bahram attacked the colony orbiting a satellite of Jupiter and stole an orbital frame which was under development.
Was she involved with that? Which orbital frame was taken?
The orbital frame Anubis. Jehuti was their target too, but they didn't get this frame.
Jehuti was collected by someone who had much to fear from Bahram before it was abandoned on Callisto.
That is about right.
Who was commanding the Antilia raid?
That was the commander of Bahram, Colonel Noman.
Noman.
Colonel Noman, also known as
What's the matter?
Blatantly
It is a
evil
resonance
guy.
reaction.
Resonance?
It is Anubis.
Alright, time to get my ass kicked.
Give that orbital frame back.
What's cooler than a robot? A robot with a tail.
Who's the runner?
By guarding yourself, you can avoid most enemy attacks, except their burst attacks. To guard, press the R1
I'm sure it probably is possible to beat this, but
Damn,
maybe
it's too tough!
if I were playing this game obsessively for a long time and just really sat down to practice it, but you're really not supposed to win here at all. I don't know if there's like a cool cutscene or something in it you can't wear them down, but I imagine getting there would be really difficult.
Noman. It's Dingo.
the end of it. Game over. We died and lost. GG.
I'm surprised you're still alive, Dingo.
Long time no see.
God, I forgot
Nolan.
how Voldemort he looks.
How have you been?
I've been on vacation.
You get off and come to my room.
So as much as I love this game, I still
What are you
stand
doing on
by
this ship anyway?
kind of the thing that I said earlier.
anything
And
happens to my pal
this
that
game
close
is
to
pretty
it,
much
you'll
every kind of mecha
I didn't
anime
kill
trope
them.
that you can think of.
I
So
don't
we
believe
have, you know,
Your
we
skills
have,
are
you know,
getting worse,
lasers,
Dingo.
swords,
You've been
laser
slacking
swords,
off.
guns, rifles, blatantly evil dude. Like in Gundam, like whenever they have like the bad guys, they do
And
try to
back
make them
off.
like look charismatic sometimes. In this game, they
Let
just
me introduce
show you
you
this
to
guy. It's like
Dingo.
there's nothing
He was
about
the
him
leading pilot
that
in our
looks even
unit
halfway
6 years
redeeming.
ago.
Dingo, Egret?
Military records show him dead.
You're doing rather menial work compared to the old days. Have you been demoted to the outskirts?
Shut up. You have come back under my command.
Come back! You must be kidding!
You'd better come back. It'll be fun from now on.
I refuse! Your fooling around almost killed me back there. It's not funny.
I'm really glad that he's really
You don't
annoyed at the fact
understand.
that his
You can't
fooling
deceive me
around
with beautiful
almost
words
killed
like
him.
freedom and independence anymore. Do you realize how many of my comrades
There we go.
died
Now
back
he's
there?
getting serious about it. I also think that, oh yeah, they both have
Say
2
it.
earlobes. I
You
never
killed
realized
them.
that before.
I wouldn't know.
You devil! Dingo!
Come back. I like you.
You make me sick.
Now it's game over.
You dispose of the body.
In typical Hideo fashion, a lot of these cutscenes are pretty long and drawn out, but honestly, I personally enjoy them. I like the anime aesthetic, and I wish that we got a couple of more of these throughout the game. There's a couple of them that kind of happen through the cockpit perspective in the little like dialogue sections. So we don't really get too many of these kind of sequences. And that's your introduction to the game. Just in case I talk over it later, the general premise of this is that that lady who just kind of told us to help her if we want to live, she more or less kind of doesn't give us a choice.
Are you sure this order is from Colonel Noman?
Pretty much the wounds that you
If
have,
not, why would I be
they
doing
weren't,
such a thing?
either they weren't able to, or they just straight up just decided not to. you know, like they couldn't really properly get the vitals to go through and, you know, be fixed easily. So what they did instead is they hook this guy Dingo up to the mech that you pilot throughout the whole entire game. So the good news is you get to be attached to a gigantic, awesome mech. The bad news is you're essentially Tony Stark, but with more limitations.
He's got a stable pulse.
Thank you. You can go now.
Okay.
Awake? You've been asleep for 2 months.
Yeah, you've only been asleep for 2 months.
I shaved your beard.
No big deal.
Ada, please look after him.
If I have to.
Where am I?
You're on Deimos Station, the gateway to Mars. How are you feeling?
Man, I was concerned about the subtitles going through correctly on, you know, on the stream end, but it's honestly, I forgot that they didn't really use like the best. They didn't use the best black background outline for all of the subtitles on here.
That power comes from Jehuti.
What?
The minute you get off Jehuti, it will stop providing energy. You will die if you leave Jehuti.
Oh, don't talk nonsense.
Well, try it if you like.
And right here they're demonstrating what happens if he gets away from the mech for too long.
Don't do that again. Did you want to scare me to death?
You're either stupid or insane! How could you do this to me?
I had no choice. The cockpit is too small to put in all the gear needed to keep you alive.
I didn't want this!
I told you if you helped me, I would save your life.
I don't remember. When did you say that?
Just before, when you nearly died.
I don't remember!
You should be more appreciative of me. I saved your life, looked after you, and kept you hidden from the other crew for 2 months.
Damn. Hook me up to proper vitals.
I can give your real body back, so you'd better just accept my orders.
Don't be ridiculous. How can I follow Bahram?
I'm not Bahram.
What?
Quite the opposite. I'm with the Space Force. I'm Ken Marineris. I've been sent into hiding in Bahram.
Are you serious?
Marineris, also known as marinara sauce.
Why not?
I said we don't have much time, didn't I? I didn't want to do this either. First, you have to escape from Deimos as soon as possible. You're in danger if we stay here wasting time talking.
It's hard for a dead man to understand.
You are still alive.
So what?
Noman is still alive too. Don't you want vengeance on him?
He killed my comrades.
I have the same aim as you, so I won't do anything.
I think that the one thing that this game could have done to, like, you know, gone from good to great was they definitely needed to kind of fix up a little bit of the dialogue.
I'm very serious.
They definitely made the characters in here, even, you know, Dingo himself, like, they're all really one-dimensional in terms of kind of, you know, how they operate and stuff. You know, as you kind of saw, Dingo is just literally, like, on the verge of dying, and, like, his one freak out is, I don't understand, I was nearly dead. Like, he settles it like an argument about, like, which Pokemon, like, which starter Pokemon is better.
Deimos is under Bahram's rule?
Not just Deimos. Mars and another satellite, Phobos. All of Mars' area has been under Bahram's control. Noman has performed great deeds.
That's awful.
Unexpected things have occurred. Anyway, please consult Ada about the catapult.
Alright, so this is probably one of my lesser favorite sequences of the game. A big portion of this one involves basically going through similar looking corridors and trying to basically escape from this giant space base. And I think the one right after this is the one that's a little bit more fun. Basically, as like the further the game goes along, like the more items that you get, like they tend to make like even better kind of challenges for you to kind of go through. So it's just kind of a matter of slogging through these first.
Cyclops destroyed. Enemy reinforcements are confirmed.
So one of the systems that at least like the previous game used, I believe, yep, here we go. Well, not necessarily this one, but basically the way that this game kind of makes challenging, like, you know, combat break up a little bit more, it like kind of adds a little bit of an extra layer of depth to it. Pretty much there's certain enemies and like clusters of enemies that you fight that will be designated as leaders, and pretty much whenever those leaders are alive, the whole unit kind of operates better. So the idea is to kind of track down those leaders and take them out, and then the rest of the levels down, so to speak. There we go. It wasn't registering, but I was trying to laser them. Alright. Oh, I'm dead. Right as I noticed my health was low.
Enemy approaching. Close range combat type. Cyclops. Be careful.
Alright, I'll try to be a little bit more careful. These, they're called Cyclopses. They're basically raptors with bigger fists. They are a little bit trickier to kind of deal with at close range, so it's honestly a little bit easier just to kind of stay back and help them with bullets before you kind of go in.
ETR reaction gone. Enemy reinforcements are confirmed. Enemy destroyed. Raptor destroyed. Cyclops destroyed. ETR reaction gone.
Just take all these guys out. Also, hitting enemies against the walls like is a really big meta of the combat on here as well. If you can push enemies into walls, you can do so much more damage to them than they should ever be allowed to take at one point. Oops, hello there. Didn't realize they were still alive. Whoops. Let's see if I can locate their leader. They might not have one. There we go. Let's take these guys out. Those guys have a shield on them, so basically you can't really deal with them until you knock them over, or you can just take them out with range. Alright.
Obtained
Metatron is how we basically restore our health. Actually, Metatron restores everything. It restores your energy as well as your health, so... anytime we see that, we absolutely want to pick that up whenever we're getting low on resources.
Destroyed.
You know, the wall thing works both ways. If I get pelted into a wall, it hurts just as much as it hurts them too. There is an enemy spawner here. So I want to try to take that out first. About the only thing that I've found that's more fast-paced in this game is if you play Armored Core 2, or not Armored Core 2, Armored Core 4, or Answer, I believe is the one that I've played that was like this. That's the only game that I've seen that seems like it moves any faster than what this one does. And that's one thing I really like about this is like it's all about, you know, kind of maintaining mobility and just constantly moving throughout the areas. Another thing that really makes this one work out well, it's the one thing that I think that the Armored Core series does decently well, but I think this one does this a little bit better. I think this one kind of establishes sort of like the world and kind of makes up more fun, kind of just fake robo-science that kind of goes into all of this. The Metatron ore and how basically that's like this valuable commodity that these robots are all driven off of. And then, you know, like the ETR reactions, it's just like half of this stuff, like, you know, they just kind of made up like, you know, these terms to kind of determine things that, you know, until you actually play the game, you don't really understand what they, you know, until she says it, basically, like, you don't really know kind of what they're getting at with it. So after you destroy the mummy heads, if you don't do enough damage to them immediately, they basically become just raptors. So you can do enough damage to the shields to kind of destroy the raptor from the inside, but it's honestly just easier just to kind of... you get some weapons later on that kind of help deal with it. Alright, let's try to focus on... There we go.
Reinforcements are confirmed.
The radar system that they use in this is actually really similar to the one that you'll see in Metal Gear Solid 4. Basically, like as threats get closer to you, whether it's projectiles or enemies, it'll kind of show you on the radar which direction they're coming from and how immediate that threat is. So essentially what you want to try to do is use that information to kind of, you know, plan when you avoid attacks. Like I'm not doing.
Mummy head destroyed. ETR reaction gone. Cyclops destroyed.
I think I'm starting to whittle them down at this point.
Raptor destroyed.
The one thing that's like the one clunky part of the controls that does get me sometimes is sometimes the dash attacks and the burst attacks don't really like to go off that well. Just because if you try to do the inputs too quickly, it either thinks that you just want to do a light attack or a heavy attack one.
Obtain meta.
Alright, here comes the mazy part of this, if I remember correctly.
I received a rescue signal.
Ignore it.
Connected.
This is Taper. I'm stuck with a cargo of freight. Please help me.
Which line is this, Ada?
This is from the Space Force.
Listen to his story, Dingo.
Listen to his story. Blatant exposition.
Taper, can you hear me? This is Henry G. What's wrong with you?
Are you the Space Force, Henry G?
Something like that.
Please help me. My unit has been attacked by Balram. The controls on my fighter have not been working and I don't have any idea where I am.
We can't help you then.
Yes, please. I've got an important mission to carry out.
Important mission?
We are helping our friends on Mars.
Who did you say you're helping?
There are many people who can't escape from Vasilia after taking away the vector cannon.
Vector cannon?
Please help Taper Dingo. We need to get it.
I don't know.
I can order Ada to stop feeding energy to you.
You'll what?
Ada?
Damn. Okay, I'll do it. Taper, I'm coming to help you. Don't move from where you are.
I'm hiding in a container. I start shaking after hearing the sound of gunfire.
Ada,
yeah, so
where was that message
the
sent
first
from?
kind of tropey part of this mission is basically we have to find using clues that we get throughout
Taper
this.
said he's hiding in a container, and he got scared after
pretty
hearing
much we
shots.
have to try to figure out which container that he's in.
Be careful.
I know. I'm just going to knock with a shot.
So if I remember correctly, yep, we do have a map here. It is not the funnest thing to read, but, you know, it is here. So let's go this way.
Henry G, this is Taper. A container with a serial number including 5.
Serial number including 5.
To turn around, use the right stick.
So we have to look at which one of these has a 5 in it. I don't think it's going to be any of these. I think he freaks out whenever we shoot near it.
Oh my! I don't want to hear this!
It's an empty box.
Alright, now we've alerted some enemies out here, so we'll just go ahead and handle those.
Please come here now.
There we go. So we have to use our map to basically kind of figure out where he's at, and, you know... Let me see if I can find the legend key on here. Okay, I see. So yeah, looks like he might be over this way now. Alright, so it should just be this one next.
A blue container.
Okay, a blue container with a 5.
Oh my! I don't want to hear this!
Damn it.
5 tons of coffee. Vanished.
5 tons of coffee vanished.
Obtained Metatron.
Where to now? I guess let's go and try this next area here. Our next puzzle.
I can see the warehouse,
number.
I think I'm in warehouse A now.
A. Are we in warehouse A? Nope, we are not. Blue container has a 5 in it. Warehouse A. There we go. It usually takes me about 3 tries to get through it. I don't know if it's scripted that way or if it's just kind of
hey! You must be Taper.
Kind of what the deal is. Oh, cool. An achievement that I haven't had before.
Yes, I am.
Wow, I'm saved. Thank you. Ah!
I'm not Bahram, though this is an orbital frame.
Stop! What's your assignment?
Hey, I'll leave you behind if you keep being so dismal.
What's your assignment?
As I said, I'm trying to help you.
Oh, all right. Please help me.
Man, I'm glad I talked him into that. It really took a lot of convincing.
I have to rescue the people in Vasilia County on Mars. They got stuck after they got a weapon to break through the defense systems of the enemy base.
That's the one you told me about a moment ago.
Yes. The Vector Cannon. It's very important to us to win. That's why I have to rescue them.
You're kidding. How can you rescue them like this?
It's my duty.
Nonsense.
It's enough you take me as far as the shooter to Mars with you. I know where my comrades are when I get to Mars.
You're asking me to carry you to the shooter.
Exactly. Let's go.
Dingo, take him. We'll have him guide us
And
to
this
the
is the
left
one downfall of this game.
I don't
is
think
there
he's that
are
useful.
at least like 3 too many
have to destroy
escort
Balrog's
quests that
military
you have to go
fortress.
to.
That's why we need that weapon.
The military
This first
fortress?
one isn't too bad
The military
because
fortress.
pretty much I can put this guy down, do my fighting, and then pick him back up and we're good to go.
Henry G, I've got a program for an orbital frame, but I don't
The problem
know
is
anything
like
about
the
its
further
contents,
into the
so
game
you're
we
welcome
get, there's a couple of other ones that come up that get a little bit more annoying. And I believe he just gave us our glorified machine gun. Oh no, this one's different.
Geyser. It works against the enemy
This first one's kind of more of like a tripwire than it is anything else. This is the one that I kind of use the least.
Special effects. Select a subweapon by tilting the left stick up or down while pressing the L1 button. Use it with the circle button. Each time you use the subweapon, the subgauge goes down. Keep an eye on how much is left.
Ada, what do I have to do when I grab Taper's lev?
Press the L1 button for a short while so that grab appears in the subweapon window. Then press the circle button in front of the target you wish to grab. Press
Just
the
like
circle
Metal
button
Gear,
again to let go.
this game pretty much treats the game's controls as part of the universe.
Check your current position on the map. To check the map and current mission status, press the start button and open the menu.
Alright, so our objective is to navigate through all of these pathways to get to there. So we need to go from our current position, we need to turn 180 degrees, go right, up, left. So let's focus on that first. Alright, so put him down.
Enemy destroyed.
Oops. I said stop it. Did not mean to do that. Sorry, buddy. Just making sure you're not going to betray me, that's all.
Enemy destroyed.
I believe this was, yeah, another right.
Cover me!
Enemy destroyed.
Cover me! Help me!
Help me. I'm trying.
Keep moving while attacking. Raptor destroyed. Enemy destroyed.
You're about to kill me!
Cyclops destroyed.
This guy complains even though his mag has much more health than mine does, apparently. Here we make a left. We've got enemies here. We deal with this. We go up, right, up. Alright, we're good. I believe this is the correct direction. Awesome.
Help me!
I suggest using a geyser.
Let's use a geyser.
ETR reaction gone. Defend firmly and watch for a chance to attack. Cyclops destroyed. ETR reaction
Oops. I
gone.
think I just shot at my buddy again. There we go.
Cyclops destroyed.
not really like an easy way to recover energy in this, but whenever you destroy certain enemies, they'll drop energy or Metatron. So whenever that happens, that's kind of your opportunity to keep your health up, and that's kind of their encouragement to kind of keep you constantly like focused more on fighting, less on like kind of being defensive. Which is really great considering the fact that like a lot of other games like will kind of encourage you to basically like just be careful and methodical. This game is just like, no, you want to keep moving, you want to keep fighting.
Obtain Metatron.
With that, I think we're actually through the, like I said, like one of the less fun parts of this.
Hey, my assignment on Mars could be very similar to yours.
I will let you know when I get there safely. Thank you for your help.
Yeah.
Don't hold me back in Mars.
That's my line.
Well, I'm leaving now.
Hey, what's Mars like now?
What do you want to know?
How's the military situation?
You should know. Anyway, I don't want to talk about it.
Ouch! By the way, what's your mission anyway?
Quick! Enemy approaching!
Well, see you later!
Be careful not to get surrounded. To switch lock-on targets, use the L2 button.
There we go, that's the commander. That's the one I want to take down. Okay, let's try to use that geyser ability. Yeah, see, like, geyser is fucking useless. Some of the weapons you get later are really useful, like you get the glorified anime trope machine guns, kind of like the Bolton cannon style things. There we go, that's what I was looking for, the quick weapon swap. Okay, that's the one that has Metatron. That's the commander. There's Metatron, so we are good to go again.
Metatron. Raptor destroyed. ETR reaction gone.
What's our next mecha anime trope? Space. Unfortunately, there aren't that many sections in this game where you actually do like real space combat.
What's that?
The best that you kind of get is you get to see this, you get to see Jehuti flying through space. Looks like we've got to deal with a friend first, though.
Viola. I don't want to fight with Viola, even if she is AI. Let's go!
Oh, I'm just gonna BTFO. And we move from one mecha anime trope to another here coming up. I think we're down on Mars for this one.
This is bad.
We're almost at the landing point.
I guess something, a fun fact that I can point out while we're getting through this set of cutscenes is, it's a silly little detail of this series, but I just love just like the on-the-nose kind of, you know, degree of it. The mechas in this, the ones that are actually piloted by people, those cockpits actually reside in like this, you know, essentially like this shaft that comes out from between the orbital frame's legs. So most of the mecha in this has a quite literal cockpit in it.
Tell me more.
It's a long story.
I bet.
Don't fall asleep.
Hurry up.
Half year ago, Bahram began to gain control of the military in every county on Mars. Then,
whenever you're in these cutscenes, you've probably seen me doing it a little bit, but you can kind of mess around here and there. Whoops. There we go. That's actually just taking us into a cutscene. But whenever you're in the cockpit sections, you can actually go through and you know, kind of control what you're seeing as you're going through. You can kind of move around the different text boxes or the little chat windows.
We attacked Vasilia County.
You can actually move the, you know, you can kind of move your viewpoint around, although there's not really that much use to it, but it does exist, and you know, you can do it.
The Space Force suffered destruction, so there's not much time to destroy the remaining forces at the enemy base. Although we did find a special thing.
That's the vector cannon Taper mentioned.
The vector cannon is a weapon that delivers a high-energy wave by space compression. The outer shield of the enemy fortress Almon defends from invasion with a mass dislocation created by space compression. The vector cannon is the only weapon that can nullify that defense and pierce it.
If you've ever watched Gundam Wing, the vector cannon is essentially a buster rifle.
So they're all byproducts of Metatron.
It's a bad habit of
except it takes a long time to charge up. It takes a lot of energy to use. We do get to use it later, but it's going to be a little while down the road.
The military unit has been
judging by the speed that this is going, probably like near the end of episode 2, if not episode 3, of you know, however long I do my streams usually. So.
Do you know about the Almon project?
I only recognize the name.
You know, like that'll be something to look forward to later, and I'll probably talk a little bit more about it then, because it is just such an exciting weapon.
After Dr. Hardiman died,
you don't get to use it as much as you'd like to, just because of the charge up time.
He then made a
and you know, considering this game is literally stay moving like almost all the time.
Metatron to construct weapons of mass destruction. When it is fully operational, it won't make sense for Earth to send any amount of forces against it. Almon will have over 1 million times the power of Anubis, and you've seen the damage that can do. Can you imagine what it will be like?
Why did Noman want to get Jehuti? He's already got a great weapon, hasn't he?
Actually, Anubis and Jehuti were developed as part of the Almon plan.
What do you mean?
Those two were a key element in starting Almon. That plan was made by Dr. Hardiman. Only those two machines can make Almon move or stop.
So, Noman has already got Anubis. He probably thinks Jehuti is a bother.
He either wants it or wants it destroyed. Normally, Anubis and Jehuti have the same abilities, so only Jehuti can fight against Bahram War potential, which was much increased through the technological research of Anubis.
That's why you made me have such a terrible experience.
No need to thank me.
Mars terraforming is still a long way from perfect, so it's still too weak to be a battlefield.
Several years ago, there was an attack on Earth by the hawkish faction of Mars, but it was a failure in
One
the
of
end
the things
because
that's actually going to be happening here
Then,
soonish, and I was
learned that they
going
should
to
put
hold
pressure
off
on Mars
until
with military
that
force
point to
before
kind of
attacking
stream
Earth,
this game.
strengthening their foothold.
This game's actually coming
Space
to
Force's power
Steam
couldn't
in
match Bahram.
you know, like a
Mars, which is
remaster
under
that they're
constant
doing,
surveillance by
and that game is actually
Earth
going
won't
to
be
have
talking big to
first-person
Mars.
VR, so that may well be my first experience with it, because I absolutely would love to play this game in VR and kind of be able to, you know, do all this looking around myself.
He must be happy.
Hey,
It's going to be a little bit tricky to stream, I think. I may have to rethink my equipment before I do that.
Cooperation is not so bad after all, is it?
But that is definitely something that I want to try to do, is to play this game in the first-person view.
I don't care about Earth or Mars. My aim is to get Noman. You're all just the same as Bahram, aren't you? So don't go thinking you're champions of justice.
Sorry to interrupt your conversation, but an unidentified combat vehicle is approaching.
Hey, I have to go. I'll disconnect.
No, wait!
Damn it. Let's be done with it.
And now we are on to our next mecha enemy trope. Oh, never mind. I lied. Well, maybe not. Yeah, these guys satisfy it. Transforming mechs that go from airship mode into combat mode.
Enemy approaching. Transforming high mobility frame, Narita. Enemy destroyed. ETR reaction gone. Narita destroyed.
There we go. Pretty much with the mummy heads, you just want to stay close to them and like you want to kind of keep constant pressure on them. If you ignore them for too terribly long, they start to fire like their giant lasers. Right there we go. In the corner there was one. So if they start firing those off, you just basically have to back off until you're kind of out of range of it, because those things will absolutely decimate you.
ETR reaction gone.
So like, you can choose to focus on them first, or you can just kind of ignore them. But if you ignore them, you need to be fully aware that, you know, like, as they are charging up their lasers, then you need to back off. Their other weapon is basically like a series of the, I really wish I could think of the name of them, like it's essentially like Vulcan cannons from any other kind of mecha trope. They actually are a pretty useful weapon against the several small enemies that you'll fight. Are any of these guys commanders? No, so we'll just focus on. There we go.
Enemy destroyed.
You guys got Metatron. So we'll try to kill him last, not last.
ETR reaction gone. Enemy destroyed. Obtain Metatron.
Damn!
I'm trying to remember which game this ship comes from.
Who is that stranger?
But this is the Vic Viper, actually. It's from one of those old space shooters. I think it's like Galaga? No, not Galaga. It's not Life Force.
Damn!
His cockpit is more of a tit pit whenever he's transformed.
Here I come!
Pretty much nothing I can do will hit him while he's strafing around like that, so I have to wait until he kind of gets into his mech form there.
Here I come!
There we go.
Here I come!
Mode change. Option.
I'll settle them down.
So pretty much what we're trying to do whenever he goes into jet mode is just pelt him with ranged attacks. Whenever he kind of transforms or kind of starts to slow down, that's whenever we close in and try to hit him with sword. Yeah, Gradius, there we go. Thank you.
Coming close.
Damage level exceeding 50%.
Here I come. Yeah. Give me back Januti!
Oops, I'm against a wall.
Damage level exceeding 75%.
It's probably actually going to take me down this first time unless I just start really, like, playing defensively, which I should probably start to do.
Coming close!
Yeah. Definitely. Okay, he's going to take us out, I think. He's got those energy spheres with him. Rip. I think I took like a bit too much damage just kind of initially trying to break his guard and such. During this first part I just really need to focus on evasion until he starts making some more predictable strafes. Right there we go, like that one.
Close. Here I come.
Go.
Mode change.
There we go, we're kind of keeping his health a little bit closer to ours now.
Coming close.
Mode change.
Kind of like baiting him in with kind of just pretending like we're going to do light attacks and then just you know, surprising him afterwards. All right, so now that he has that you know, nice little glowy thing, we're going to play a little bit safe because that's what did me in last time.
Damage level exceeding 75%.
Void walls. Play.
Close. Flight mode.
Dodge right into those. Shit. I think he's gonna get me again. Yep. And there's like other times that I've fought him that it hasn't been like quite this off-sided. I think I just need to try to be a little bit more defensive. Like, you actually do have a guard button, but like, Most of my experience, it hasn't really been that useful, but I might need to try to start utilizing that a little bit more and like mix up my strategy just a small bit. Hopefully I can kind of get him into the combo of, there we go. Wait for him to kind of close in with his shield and then break his guard.
This Vic Viper can do it!
Need to try to center up on the ripples whenever I can.
Coming close!
So he's coming in close.
Eat this! Here I come!
There we go.
Mode change.
Would have thought that fighting Gradius would be this difficult.
Coming close!
There we go. Yeah, whenever I block, it kind of breaks his combo chain, so then I can actually focus on,
Here I come!
you know, kind of, he was trying to do the burst attack to me, and then I kind of broke that up for him.
Here I come!
Oh god, there we go. Lost lock on with him. No, bad idea. Very bad idea to try to charge that up.
Coming close!
Just gotta survive this coming close.
Here I come!
Don't get comboed. We're good.
Mode change.
Damn bomb!
Just gonna focus on dodging. Brought that one down to the wire.
Wait! I'm not with Baram!
What else can you say if you're not with Baram?
You must be Leo Stenbuck.
You know him?
Ada.
So the person that we were fighting, this is actually the
You remember
protagonist from the first game.
Yes, the data is a perfect match with the previous
I
runner.
might try to play that one at some point just because I
You
do
haven't
like
changed a bit.
the first
You're
game,
the owner
but
of this
honestly
frame,
I feel like
aren't
this
you?
one kind of has
That's
like
right.
the better kind of
Why did you abandon
you know, kind of the
Jehuti on
better
Callisto?
movement mechanics and
Elena-
fight options to it. The first one was a lot more sword centric. This one actually has weapon
You want me to leave
utility
Jehuti?
to it.
Don't be silly. I can't leave even if it means I die.
How come?
That's not your business.
What do you plan to do with Jehuti?
I think it can be sold at a high price.
Are you going to Alman? Ada, please answer my question. You're going to Alman, aren't you?
So what if I am?
Do you know that Ada intends to self-destruct Jehuti on Alman?
Are you sure?
It is true.
Wait a second! What's going on? Whose order is that?
It's a command which arose from the basis of a program.
The basis of a program? Are you kidding
Not
me?
the basis
Who
of
would
a
allow such a
program.
thing? Hey, Ada, I won't allow you to do that!
You're worried as if it concerns you.
Well, it does!
This is the meaning of the existence bestowed upon me.
Are you stupid? How can you throw away your life for no reason?
Because I'm a
I don't
fucking
need
robot,
any reasons.
dingo.
Alright, I get rid of Alman. Then you don't need to blow up Jehuti. Isn't that right?
What?
And then, once Alman is destroyed, you'll be alive. That's enough, isn't it? You should take time to think about the meaning of your existence later.
but...
What's your name?
You shut up! I'm Dingo!
Dingo, I'm sorry, but it's me who will destroy Almon.
What?
I can't stomach giving Jehuti to Bahram.
I won't give it up either.
I don't want to lose Jehuti.
You rely on me. I'll get rid of it while you're
I
doing
wonder
your
if like
homework
part
at
of the
home.
problem with the dialogue of this game is just the
I will head towards
just
Almon
basically
after helping
the
Space
translation.
Force
Like I
facility.
feel like they didn't pour
If I
enough
fail,
time into
Please
actually
carry out my task.
you know, kind of making sure that everything kind of flowed well.
Fight. I want to finish it.
So you kind of get
Why?
these like broken up dialogues
Ada's
here
sake.
where these
You're
guys
a
pretty
funny
much just
guy.
argued back and forth at the
please
same
take this
exact
with you.
point for about like a minute and a half of, hey, I want to protect Ada. I also want to protect Ada. Hey, I want to destroy this, but I want to destroy this as well.
It stuns enemies to a distance by physical impact.
Alright, the gauntlet is pretty much
If
the...
you can hit an enemy into the wall
It's
using
pretty
the
much the
gauntlet,
bread and butter of what
they
I
will
was talking
suffer
about
double
earlier
damage.
with pushing
I
enemies
see.
against the walls.
Dingo,
That is actually
saw
the best way to
Anubis?
kind of deal with the enemies that,
Please
the little
be
spider
careful,
enemies that
Anubis.
are on the ground.
Even though you are on Jehuti,
It also
Don't
does a
worry.
pretty
I'll bring your
decent number to
Jehuti back to you later
Cyclops,
in
since
one
those
piece.
like to kind of close
Anyway,
in on you.
you were a
You
good
can
fighter.
kind of get them into
trust
a
your
corner
skills.
and, you know, pretty much back them into a wall and just take them out outright. Alright, so my plan for this, since the later half of this game gets really packed
What's
down
that?
with
It's the Bahram
things
fleet.
to do,
They defend from
I'm coming
outside
up on this
invasions.
section here
Is
that's going to
Leo
be
all right?
basically
He hasn't been captured
protecting this
There's
village.
too much trouble in the
So what I'm
sky.
going to do is
your own
basically
good,
play
you
this
better
game
act
up
with
until
reserve
I
like you're a
protect
stranger.
that city.
Anyhow, news will
Once I
soon leak
protect
out.
that city, I'm
But
going
it
to
is
save
much
the
better
game,
if
and
no one
then
finds out as
we'll
late as
basically
possible.
call the stream there for now.
Alright. I'll
The
explain
next
what you
parts
do
after
next.
that
You can
pretty
enter
much
Vasilian
all
through
start
the
to
south
really
gate.
ramp up
But
with stuff to
first, you
do.
need to unlock
So I
it.
want to try to
You
save
have to
those
destroy
for
two
whenever I
facilities on
can
both
kind of
sides
get
of the
those
gate
into a
before
little
you
bit
can go
more of
into
a,
Vasilian
you know, little
territory.
jam-packed
So,
nugget of an episode.
I'll need to destroy 2 facilities to unlock the gate, is that right?
That's it. Security in the territory.
But we do
is
have like
much
one more
stricter
thing
since the
before we
Space
get
Force
to
attack,
protecting
so
that
be
city,
careful.
so
I will.
we'll
leaving
do that,
Deimos for
and
Mars
then
now.
that pretty
I'll
much
let you know when I
will
get there. The crews on
that'll
Deimos
pretty
are
much
starting to
front load
suspect
the
you.
next episode
Really?
full of the funner
Serves you
parts
right.
of this.
Hey, why can't you be more cooperative?
I think I am.
I shouldn't trust rumors.
What?
Nothing.
Why
See
can't
you
you be
later.
more cooperative guy who I literally
route through the
entrapped
canyon
into
in front
this
of the gate.
giant
You
mecha?
can confirm the map with the start button. Metatron is confirmed close by.
Metatron is confirmed close by, and thank goodness, because I desperately need some right now. Alright, so we're basically going to hit the Metatron, then we're going to go into that canyon.
Go and collect it first. Obtained Metatron. Narita destroyed.
So our little 4-hit combo there didn't actually finish off the Narita. It was actually the, it was hitting the wall that did it. Not the guys, the gauntlet ability that I got, its sole purpose is basically to push enemies back. So if you get them up against a wall and just use like a couple of shots of that, it just absolutely destroys them. Not to mention that the weapon on its own does like a pretty decent number of damage.
Enemy reinforcements confirmed. I suggest using Gauntlet. ETR reaction gone.
Pretty much like a lot of these Narita fights, which, you know, initially they were really difficult to deal with. Now we just throw 2 gauntlets at them and then, you know, boom, they're dead.
Enemy destroyed.
Alright.
Enemy
No more
reinforcements
enemy
are confirmed.
reinforcements.
Estimated combat time is 90 seconds. ETR reaction gone.
now my energy bar actually takes a little bit of a hit whenever I'm doing this. Another one of the things that they do is as you're attacking and destroying enemies, that's actually how you recharge your energy as well. So once again, kind of keeping with the, they want you to just constantly be moving around. That's also kind of how they make sure that you do that.
Obtain Metatron. The gate is locked.
The gate is locked.
First, you need to destroy 2 facilities. Confirm the location of the facilities with the map. You can open the map with the
I'll
start
give you a
button.
hint. They're to the left and to the right.
Raptor destroyed. ETR reaction
So
gone.
for a while, a little bit of my combat is just going to be cheesing these guys with the gauntlet. Alright, see now.
Enemy destroyed. ETR reaction gone. Raptor destroyed.
Wall, dead.
ETR reaction gone. Raptor destroyed.
I guess that kind of falls into the Mecha anime trope of just slamming something against the wall, but that one I don't really consider as much of one.
Enemy destroyed.
I think this is the right way. Yeah, that's the right one. Something over this way from what I remember. Can't remember exactly what it is though. Didn't want to hit the Metatron.
Obtain
Come on.
Metatron.
Spirit Bomb. Really nothing? Try one more time. Let's try just fully charging and see what happens. Alright, it's not gonna let us. That's fine. This game is really generous with its ammo count in that you get enough to basically do the kind of stuff that you would want to do with your alt weapons, but it never feels like it's too you know, like too suffocating with it. So like, you know, like I can spam these gauntlets and like I have to be still responsible about it, but I don't necessarily have to sit here and be like, you know, oh, this is a commodity. I can't, you know, I can't use this because I'll need it later.
Enemy destroyed. Raptor destroyed. Enemy destroyed. Obtain Metatron. Raptor destroyed. Enemy
Yeah, I hit 2
destroyed.
people with that one, awesome.
ETR reaction gone. Raptor
And
destroyed.
they didn't do as good of a job with the geyser as they did with this weapon. With the gauntlet, they made damn sure that pretty much you would have the ability to kind of see, you know, see situations where it can actually be useful. They really they dropped the ball on the geyser because there really aren't that many places that the geyser actually feels useful and kind of helpful. Whereas with the
damage level exceeding 50%.
say with the gauntlet, there are definitely immediate uses to it.
destroyed. Enemy destroyed.
Just a little bit of spamming just to kind of deal with those guys finally. Charge up our spirit bomb, destroy the power generators. I think I have to do it again. There we go. It didn't quite register that first one, I don't think.
You destroyed a lock. There is one more facility with a lock for the gate. A commander type is identified.
And here's where they're
amongst
explaining the
enemies.
thing
It
that
may form a party
I talked
with the
about
surrounding
earlier with the
enemies.
commanders.
By forming a party, the enemies reinforce their fighting ability using formations and coordinated actions. It is dangerous for you to let them form a party. Before they do so, I suggest destroying the commander type. I will point out the commander type with this icon.
Roger. Sounds tough.
Oh no, there goes their commander.
ETR reaction gone. Damage it more by hitting it against the side walls. Make full use of the topography. Enemy destroyed. Cyclops destroyed. Enemy destroyed. ETR reaction gone.
Now we can get out of here.
Obtained Metatron. ETR reaction gone. Raptor destroyed. ETR reaction gone. Raptor destroyed. ETR reaction gone.
Now I just need to go around and rinse repeat this direction.
Raptor destroyed.
Get pulled by something. No.
Enemy destroyed. Raptor destroyed.
Guess I got hit by like a little floor trap or something like that.
ETR reaction gone. Enemy destroyed. ETR reaction gone. Raptor destroyed. Keep moving while attacking.
Moving while attacking. There we go. The camera in this game doesn't quite like to be sometimes.
Cyclops destroyed. ETR reaction gone. Enemy destroyed. ETR reaction gone. Raptor destroyed. Enemy destroyed. ETR reaction gone. Enemy destroyed.
Destroy this one now. No, we got one more. I lied.
ETR reaction gone. ETR reaction gone.
It's really nice of them to just let me do that.
Raptor destroyed. ETR reaction gone.
Alright, now we can focus on it.
All locks have been deactivated. Smashing the enemy into walls with combo smash adds to the damage. Party connected. Enemy destroyed. Raptor destroyed.
Oh well. It's helpful, but it's not necessarily like the end of the world if the commander is alive.
Raptor destroyed. The commander is destroyed.
That Metatron, baby.
Enemy destroyed. Obtained Metatron. Raptor destroyed.
Alright, now we can proceed to the
We
gate.
obtained the device driver of the sub-weapon Phalanx. This weapon produces a massive energy bullet. You can change the diffusion range. It depends on how
There we go,
strongly you
the
press the circle
Phalanx.
button.
That is the, basically the Vulcan cannon. So we'll probably use these on the up-and-coming enemies here because there's going to be a swarm of these guys. So depending on the pressure that I use, I can kind of, I can basically adjust how far these bullets go out. Considering all of those guys basically have 1 health, you can just pretty much just lock onto one of them and like have it about like, I would say like 50% of a, 50% pressure kind of put on it, and it'll make pretty quick work of most of them. At least until you run out of energy. Like I said, like you have enough energy to kind of do what you need to do, and then they kind of, they kind of make sure that you're just not like endlessly spamming it.
Enemy destroyed. Cyclops destroyed. Enemy destroyed.
There we go. Energy get.
Obtained Metatron.
Forgot about this boss fight. We have
Viola.
Fight Viola.
You're already here.
I found you. Get ready. Come on, entertain me. How about this?
Can't remember if we need to use the grab or not.
Ada, what can I do with that shield?
If you can guard against the enemy slamming in, you might be able to nullify the enemy shield.
So, an ordinary guard cannot be used.
If you have some sort of catalyst, you can improve Jehuti's abilities.
A catalyst?
Please search for something like a board as a guard.
Something like a
All right,
board.
I can guard from the slamming in as I grab that. Let's do it!
I am coming.
I'd rather you didn't. Find something to grab first.
I am coming.
Take it back. Let's back up. If I don't hit that guard break at pretty much the right time, it's just done. Good news is that she telegraphs herself really bad with that. There we go. Okay, here's the city that I was talking about. So after we finish defending this, that's where I'll call the episode for the day.
It's a great view, isn't it?
Please shake it off.
It's my turn. How about this?
Damage level exceeding 50%.
These are just a little bit, that's fine. Want to get up against the wall. So we can pretty much just constantly cheese her up with that. The boss fights in this game are really nice because, at least most of them, they don't overstay their welcome with that, using the board to guard against an attack kind of thing. They do that just enough for you to kind of get used to it, and then they put you into that next part where they actually, they just move along from that mechanic.
We obtained the device driver for the sub-weapon Comet. This is a weapon with great enemy homing capabilities.
I don't think that the Comet ends up being too terribly useful, but I'll try to give it a shot.
When I was with Bahram, Viola was the last person I wanted as an enemy.
The enemy is a battle AI that will never stop following a target while the target continues to exist.
If it's modeled after Viola, it's so much the worse. Ada, is this the settlement?
There are life signs in many buildings.
We have come to the worst place. Let's leave.
Hey, Henry G! Have you already arrived on Mars?
Who is this?
It's Taper. We met on Deimos.
Are you still alive? That's a miracle, isn't it?
I received a transmission from the 8 Heads platoon on the coast.
Are they a Lev unit with the vector cannon?
Yeah. They seem to be stuck and confined in a facility by a cliff. I'm going to the point of origin of the dispatch now.
I'll be there soon.
Hey, by the way, what is your mission?
Hey, by the way, what is your mission?
What's going on
there?
Gotta
go again. So this is the mission that's probably the most reminiscent of the missions that you would do in the first Zone of the Enders. A lot of the kind of extra things that you can do involve going to these specific town areas and just basically defending them from invading forces. And the idea is to do as little damage to the environment as possible.
Meet again after the enemy is exterminated.
Stand by. Stand by.
Hey, Taper, they seem like your pals, don't they?
Why didn't you say our pals? Don't you know them?
Ada, put me through to that unit.
This is Storm Company.
What are you doing? Do you want to involve civilians?
Who cares? Anyhow, they're only the small fry of Vasilia.
Hey, what?
He must be really upset. Henry G, please help them.
Damn. Taper, there's no guarantee, though.
Please.
Storm Company, I'm coming to help.
Who is this?
Don't talk too much. Ada!
Which are you going to help? The Space Force or civilian buildings?
Both!
All right. The damage percentage of the people in the civilian buildings is shown on the radar.
Pretty much our goal here is
Please
just to
eliminate
not
the
let that
entire
get
enemy
to
before they are
0%.
completely destroyed. One more thing. The Space Force's levs are manned. Be careful not to destroy them.
What do I do when I want a Lev to stop attacking the building?
You will employ the sub-weapon Geyser.
Sure, I can stop them moving with Geyser. Ada, you're good at your job for a battle AI.
My previous runner influenced me greatly.
That must be that Leo I met.
He always had respect for human
So they want you to try to basically
You're the type that behaves the way the man you
damage to
love
the
wants
buildings,
you
but
to.
honestly, like, there's just no reason to focus on
You
that
don't
if
have
you don't have to.
It will all end when I dispose of Barom's unmanned machine. Anyway, let's go.
If you just work fast enough, then you don't have to worry about stopping them.
Mission start. Let's eliminate every enemy.
So the idea of this is to basically try to just kill all of these enemies as they kind of appear. Now the one mistake I always made was I always tried to just take these guys out one by one, and then later on I discovered how amazing the gauntlet is. So a lot of what I'll be using is going to be just taking these guys down with the gauntlet this time. Because they're actually on the building that I'm trying to defend. Radar, come on.
One more.
Alright, I think we did it without letting anything die.
Mission completed.
I could have saved more of them.
In that situation, this is a realistic figure.
Stop it. I could have saved all their lives.
It's actually probably like the best that I've done on this.
There would have been more destruction.
Are you trying to ease my mind?
Alright, I'm gonna go ahead and let this play out.
Don't butt in at our battle!
A battle?
And
Does the Space Force call massacring innocent civilians battle?
I don't care about Vasilia's people.
Next time that we start is gonna be probably like the first real exciting mission in this game.
Shut up! If you say anything more, I'm gonna kill you, you wretch.
What?
Go away! Ada, please put me through to Leo.
All right, I will put you through to Leo Stenbach.
Dingo, what's wrong?
How has your search for the Levs been going?
I've already saved several people, but they all say they would attack Alman.
They were ordered to, weren't they?
But it's impossible for Levs to attack Baram.
Let them do as they like.
You're heartless, aren't you? If they're your ally...
Is the Space Force my ally? Don't kid me.
What?
Hey, I found a few Lev units in the civilian residential area near the south gate.
Hey, by the way, don't
if you
mind
still
me
think
that
they're
I
your
just
team,
don't give a
you
shit
can pick
about
them up.
anybody.
All right.
Ada, put me through to Taper.
All right, I will put you through.
Henry G, how's everything going?
I did my best. Have you already met 8-Heads?
Yeah. I've confirmed the vector cannon too, but things are worse.
What's wrong?
This location might have been discovered by Baram.
What? Where is it?
This is an energy facility along Ayers Cliff. It seems to be supplying power for Alman.
Wait, the enemy is approaching. What?
And this is a perfect cliffhanger for this as well. That right there is a train, and in typical mecha anime trope, we have to go down the train and destroy every single card on the way.
Ada, where is the train going?
It is going via Ayers Cliff along the sea.
They're attacking all the way. Hey, Taper! The train carrying the orbital frame is going towards you.
What's that?
I'll destroy it before it gets there.
Is that right?
After all, it's just on the way. Ada, give me the estimated time of the train's arrival.
Roger.
Alright, we'll go ahead and save it here. Trying to find a good... Let's go and hit the bottom here. Oh, there isn't a bottom then. Damn. I'll put it in safe slot 3. Tactical game-saving action. Alright. And with that, I'll go ahead and call it. Thanks for watching. Next episode is where things will really start to pick up, so please look forward to it. I'll see you guys next time.